Well, first off, hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chip Baker, Chip Baker, the Success Chronicles, and this is my good friend Tammy. Tammy, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Tami Matheny. I run Refuse to Lose coaching and author of This Is Good. So we are excited you guys joined us, and thanks for working with the technical difficulties.
Yes. For those of you that are old enough to understand this, I don't know if we're Y2K yet. Uh, but we're trying to figure it out. We had some technical difficulties this morning, but I think we got through it, and thank you guys for being patient with us. But what we're doing, just wanted to come on and highlight, Tammy and I are about highlighting and showing value to others. But what we want to do, if you don't mind, if you can mute, if you're not, I don't know if you can mute so we don't have outside noise, we'd be respectful of everybody that's on. What we're going to do is just give each person an opportunity to go through and talk about their book, talk about who they are. Great people on the call today, doing some great things, and we're going to have a great time. How about that plan? But the order today is it'll be Tammy, it'll be myself, Tammy, Betsy Butterick, Coach Q, Dr. Brown, Robert Harper, 2, Rene Lopez, Chris Holmes, Coach Lance Lawyer, Mark McKinney, and Coach Heather, 2 feet in Macy. Let's go. And so that'll be the order today. And we're just going to go through and talk about our books, and then, where you guys can go check them out. And just want to just show some love and support for one another. And like I said, just have a great time. So I'll kick it off. Anything else, Tammy, before I get started that I may have missed?
Sounds good. Can you guys see the screen?
Everybody's good. All right.
All right, Chip, kick it off.
All right, let's go. So my book is The Formula Chart for Life. And basically just the story of where it came from. First, I'm super excited about it because growing up, I didn't know any authors, right? And so for me, like, it's just really awesome for me. Like man, when I look at that book, like, it gives me chills just to even look at it and see, like man, you're really an author, right? And so it's a true blessing for me. Truly excited about it. But growing up, I struggled with math. All of those struggles, I barely passed all my math classes. I worked really hard, but I barely passed them. Even in college, it didn't change. I knew I had to not let anything hold me back from getting my degree. So I did the best I could to get past those math classes. And they probably gave me those grades because they were tired of me. But anyway, I took it and ran with it. But I got a chance to co-teach a chemistry class a few years ago. I'm a 4th-generation educator. And I saw that, with my experience growing up and my experience in the chemistry class, I saw that, man, formula charts are the way that really help us simplify things to help us get the answers that we need. And so from there, I started taking notes on, like, life lessons, because I'm a big awareness person. Like, how can this relate to this? Why am I doing this? And so I put it together. And so I started taking notes. And so now I've just put those formulas together. And they're really just formulas to help you be successful in all areas of your life. So that's a brief synopsis about my book. And again, thank you guys for being on and taking the time to check it out. So, Tammy?
All right, are you guys seeing my screen share?
No.
Nope.
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about my book, and then I'll try to figure it out before everybody else. But I'm excited to be here. I'm going to tell you a quick story about why I wrote my book. It comes from an African folklore that I have found beneficial in my life, and it's called This Is Good. But there was a king in Africa, and he had his best friend with him wherever he went, because no matter what happened, the best friend would say, "This is good." Well, they go out hunting one day, and he's captured by a band of cannibals. Well, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. He loads the king's rifle for him. Well, it backfires and blows the king's thumb off. The king is irate, throws his best friend in jail. All the way to jail, the best friend is like, "This is good. This is good." Well, fast forward, he's in jail for a year and a half, every day saying this is good, and people in jail saying, "You're crazy, this isn't good." But in the meantime, the king goes on another hunting party, and he's captured by a band of cannibals. The cannibals are going to eat them and kill them one by one. Well, they get to the king, and they were very superstitious, and they didn't believe in killing or eating anything that wasn't whole. So they let the king go. And the king was like, oh my gosh, my best friend saved my life. So he sprints back to the prison, gets down on his knees, begs for forgiveness. The best friend, of course, says, this is good. And he's like, I know it was good for me. You saved my life, but I've wasted 1.5 years of your life. And the best friend was, no, it was good for me, because if I had been with you, I could have been killed and eaten. Now, I take that story, and hopefully it's a little more dramatic than what we have to deal with on a daily basis. But the challenge is, in the book, I try to create this challenge of how do we cultivate this mindset that the best friend had? How do we take the challenges that we face day to day and find what's good in it to stay alive mentally, so that something different, better can take place maybe tomorrow, maybe a week from now, maybe a year from now. And so my book just gives, as it tells the story of a team I work with, I give simple ways of how we can cultivate a mindset that allows us to find that this is good. So in order to celebrate that, I encourage you guys on social media, and I'll put it up. If you tag me on social media and hashtag this is good and share a this is good moment in your life, then I'm going to give out some free books and some free bands that say this is good to the stories that are most moving. So that's what I would like to share with you guys. All right.
Thank you, Tami.
Guys.
All right. This is good. I love that story. All right. So next we'll have Betsy Butterick.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. I'm in San Diego. Chip, Tami, thank you so much for having us on. I'm Betsy Butterick, the coach's coach and communications specialist, but I'm not here today to talk about me. I'm here to talk about we. And the we that I'm referring to is the partnership that I have with one individual on this call, Tami Matheny, who you just heard from, and another coach named Molly Grisham. And what happened is, and I like to tell this as a joke sometimes, like 3 specialists walk into a bar, except it was 3 specialists who got connected together who were all former coaches. So Tami Matheny, former coach and athletic administrator, coach in tennis, Molly Grisham, former college soccer coach, and myself, Betsy Butterick, former college basketball coach. The 3 of us at different times in our career made the choice to step away from coaching and into our specialties. So Tami working on mental skills, Molly working on leadership, myself working on communication. What was interesting about this group is we all had a coaching background. So we knew exactly what it was that coaches experienced and the ways in which coaches were hiring us individually to come in and work with their teams about these specific skill areas, mental skills, leadership, communication. And we thought, well, gosh, it would have been great if when we were coaching, we were able to get all of these skills in one place and be able to develop our team ourselves instead of having to hire an outside entity to come in. Now, is that great for our individual business? Probably not. But what's most important to the 3 of us is being able to help coaches and give them resources to work with their team on skills we know are essential for success. With that in mind, we created Start Strong for Teams, a plan for team success. We harness the power of storytelling, knowing how effective storytelling is, the way that a story will stay in the minds of our student athletes long after whatever instruction we gave them for the latest drill has left. In Start Strong for Teams, there's 4 stories, and with each story comes action items, questions for reflection, key points, extra credit. And the facilitator's guide is meant for coaches to be able to work directly with their teams to develop these 3 key components. Again, leadership, communication, and mental skills. The reason it's been so impactful is because having that shared coaching perspective and background, we were able to articulate within the directions, within the stories, things that resonate with not only coaches, but with student athletes as well. So we've essentially taken what we would do individually if we were to come in, and we've scaled it, and we've put it in the hands of coaches so that they can start to develop these essential skill sets with their student athletes on their own. You can find us at successforteams.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at successforteams. The Facilitator's Guide is available on Amazon. So you can also search Success for Teams or Start Strong for Teams on Amazon. If you follow us on social media at Success for Teams, in the next roughly month, 60 days, we have a very special announcement coming about a new product that is meant not only to help you start strong, but to help you and your team stay strong, which I know during this time, especially as we work towards a gradual return to sport in a pandemic landscape, is more important than ever. So Chip, Tami, thank you for letting me share this space and talk about Start Strong for Teams. I'm going to kick it over now to Coach Q.
All right, Coach Q, you're up. And Coach Q is having some family things that he's going to have to take care of today. So he's going to do his spiel and he's going to head out. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. But Coach Q, you're up.
Nope.
Okay, maybe not. Oh, we'll hey, muted, Coach. Maybe we'll have to.
Hello.
There we
go. All right, we got you now.
There we go.
All righty. Again, thank you, Chip and Tami, for doing this, and blessings to all those that are on this. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to share. The book that I'm going to talk about is The Footprints of Success. It's one of the three. I have 2 other books that I published, From Chumps to Champs and Get Off the Bench, Get Into the Game. But this is my recent book, and I did a co-author with 13 other people, amazing 13 other people that went in on this book. And my chapter is about leadership, and you have chapters that are throughout communication, leadership, mentor, business, experiences that cross the line of entrepreneurs and leaders. And it is a great read, great tool for teaching. And so this is the book that I present. It will be a definite hit if you're looking for success. And I feel like success leaves clues, and there are a lot of clues and a lot of nuggets in this book and strategies that help you move forward and being successful. And so for me, anybody that would go on to my link tree, all my information is in that, my website, my social media, everything that you could possibly think of is in one spot that you can check out to find me. If you go on, and a lot like Tami said, if you go on and you post something about anything about any of the authors that you heard today, anything about a message that resounded to you, and retweet the picture and your message, contact me and I will send you a free copy of one of the 3 books of your choice. And so appreciate the time, appreciate your effort and energy of putting this together. And thank you so much, Tami and Chip.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. You're very welcome. Good luck with your stuff today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, next up we have Dr. Brown.
How's it going, everyone?
Hello.
So I'm super excited to be here. Chip, Tami, thank you guys for reaching out. All the new authors that I haven't met yet, I'm excited to connect with you guys. And then thank you to my business networking people in my chapter here in Jacksonville that are hanging out with us too today. So I am Dr. Megan Brown. I'm the owner of Body Mechanics Physical Therapy. So I am here in Jacksonville. I do strength and conditioning, sports performance. I'm also the owner of the Lax Box here in Jacksonville. So we do a lot of stuff, especially with young female athletes. So what I wanted to talk about today was actually my first book, my first journal. It's called the Restore Journal. So in this Restore Journal, I have 3 different parts that I use when I treat patients: restore, develop, and strengthen. Those are kind of my 3 pillars and platforms that I use. And I realized when I started treating patients that, you know, I learned all about the physical stuff in PT school, but getting out into the real world, you got to do a little bit more than that. A lot of it's mental, a lot of it goes off of nutrition, and even goal setting. So, you know, when patients come in, if they don't know why they're there, chances are they're not going to get better, right? So I developed this program called the Raise Your Game program, and it's based on those components. And we kind of create a pathway and kind of like a framework for everyone to perform at their highest level. You don't have to be an athlete to be involved in this. If you're, you know, someone that just wants to get more active, have more freedom and joy in life, this would be a great way to do that. So with that said, anyone that is on today, okay, the first 10 people, so the first 10 people, if you go to raiseyourgame.club and take the champions quiz and then sign up for a free 10-minute pivot session where we just kind of talk about your experience with the quiz and what you felt about it, you will get a free journal signed by myself. Pretty cool. So we're going to do that today. It's the first 10, so however long it takes, that's what we're going to do. But if you guys have any questions for me that isn't on this slide, go ahead and put them in the chat and I will respond. Please follow me on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, not on TikTok, not a fan of it, but you know, it is what it is. So thank you guys for showing up and I hope to talk to you soon.
Good deal. Thank you, Coach. You mean you're not doing any dancing on TikTok?
Not on TikTok, just, you know, on my own time in front of the mirror.
You just don't share it with everybody like
yeah,
that.
You know, I'm not that public.
I hear you. All right, well, good. Thank you. All right, next up we'll have Robert Harper II, a great guy. And a little funny about him, we've done some topic sessions before, and you know, every time we get together, it's hot. And so I tell him, man, you just have to warn everybody it's going to be hot. So I'm warning you, it's about to be hot.
Oh, man. Appreciate you, Chip,
yes,
and Tami, just, you know, bringing this platform, bringing us all together and allowing us to, you know, talk about our books and as authors. Yeah, I recently wrote a book called Talk to Yourself. You know, my name is Robert Harper II. I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a minister, I'm an educator, and I'm an author. And the book is called Talk to Yourself. Maybe the best conversation you have all day. And, you know, I wrote the book because I wanted to deal with limited thinking and negative thoughts from like a spiritual, motivational, and a psychological perspective. My background is in psychology as well. And so I know, and you know, we talk to ourselves all the time. And so the key is what kind of thoughts we have when we do talk to ourselves, right? Usually, you know, people usually affirm the insecurities. They talk about their things they can't do. They highlight those things. And so psychology tells us that 80% of our thoughts are negative. And so the question is, how do we combat that? How do we fight against that? You and I try to have a prosperous and positive life when we have these self-imposing negative beliefs or thoughts, limiting beliefs. And so, you know, psychology has this thing called self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy basically says that it starts with the thinking. Negative thinking leads to negative emotions leads to negative behavior. And so if we're honest with ourselves, our negative thinking, you know, keeps us chained to behavior that's counterproductive to our goals, to the life that we really desire to have. And so writing this book came about like in a real organic and real way. I was having conversations with people and they would be open and honest and they would share with me their goals, their dreams, their ideas that they had, and ideas that would not only change their life, would change those that were around them, you know? And so I would get excited and mirror that excitement. But unfortunately, like one word would step into the conversation, and that word is but, right? And so I started to, you know, see a pattern. I started to see, okay, not only this word but is paralyzing them from accomplishing their dreams, but also realize from a psychological standpoint that but is revealing what they truly believe, like on an unconscious level. And so it would be like, hey, I want to be a better spouse, but, or I want to go back to school, but I want to be better in this area, but. And so that but reveals, you know, what we truly believe. And so I say in the book about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And so the conscious mind is like a mind where you want better, like you want the right relationship, you want the dream, you want the new business, but the unconscious mind is different. The unconscious mind is oftentimes shackled by our negative experiences, our negative thoughts, past behavior, things that have been given to us, birthed to us out of pain and regret. And so the unconscious mind doesn't really understand fantasy nor reality. It's a recorder. It just records information. And so in the book, I talk about being very intentional about what we allow to enter our minds and what we say. And I believe life and death are in the power of the tongue. And so the conscious mind can't really get us to where we want to go. We have to really get on an unconscious level if we really want to live the life that we truly want to live. And so the uniqueness about the book is that in the book, Talk to Yourself, not only am I talking to the reader, but the reader is literally talking to themselves. And so there's always a section in the chapter where you're affirming certain things that you need to affirm for the day. right? And so there's 10 different principles in the book, 10 different chapters. You talk about all in, you talk about giving your all, having making reservations for your life, so on and so on. And so whatever you are for that day, you can really just flip to the affirmation that you need, right? And so it's not a book that you just keep on the shelf. It's a book that you may need something for today, you know, or you're getting ready to go for a job interview, or you're getting ready to go on a date. I don't know. But you need some little boost to reaffirm and tell yourself what you need for that day. And so I believe personally that we can talk ourselves out of some things. So I believe that by this book, we can talk ourselves into some things when you talk to yourself in a real intentional way. So I'm all about trying to get people to use more grace and mercy and compassion and love when they talk to themselves. My name is Robert Harper II. You can follow me on pretty much all social platforms, Twitter, Robert N. Harper on Twitter. It's Robert Harper 2, the number 2 on Instagram. On Facebook is the same thing, Robert Harper 2. My website is robertharper2.com as well. And so I appreciate the opportunity. Also, what I wanted to do also is for those who just hashtag, talk to yourself. Hashtag on Instagram, the first 5 people that hashtag talk to yourself in a post or anything like that, then I want to give you guys a free book, a signed copy. And that's what I would like to do. So appreciate you, Chip and Tami, for the opportunity.
Everybody's loving your cover, Robert.
Yeah, thanks so much. That's good stuff. Like I told you, I tried to warn you guys. Hot. All right. So our next coach person that we have is Coach Rene Lopez. And again, Coach, sorry about the technical difficulties. You weren't on, but I said we were trying to get Y2K. So I think we're caught up, and we're glad you made it on, and excited to hear about what you have. So Coach Rene Lopez, you're up.
Thanks so much for having me, Chip and Tami. I'm so glad to be here. 13th time was a charm to get on. So I'm not sure what was going on with Zoom today, but glad to be here and glad to talk a little bit about my book. I was a college coach for 14 years, D1, D2, NAI head coach. I was on staff at the University of Florida as well as a grad assistant. And what I decided after 14 years, I had been talking for so many times to families about the college recruiting process and club coaches and high school coaches and everyone across the board. And I kept finding this common theme that a lot of people were disconnected of what college coaches were really looking for and what student athletes were being told. And so I tried to actually tackle some of this problem. I was sitting around after, I don't know, probably the 10th time somebody had said I had done a talk on the college recruiting process to a bunch of recruits. And some person came up to me and said, you really should write a book on this. And for about the 10th time, I said, you're crazy. I don't even know the first thing about writing a book. I'm a coach. That's what I do. Well, fast forward, God opened up opportunities for me to be writing a book. And I actually decided to interview 65 college coaches and athletic directors across all different divisions across the entire country. And we had athletic directors from schools like University of Florida, University of Alabama, as well as we have 19 different sports covered in this book. And we talk about different things and what college coaches are really looking for, and to help families with the process, as well as help high school coaches and maybe junior college coaches about the transfer process a little bit, as well as how do you help internationals and kids just really find their way of what college coaches are really looking for in the recruiting process. Not just, some people have watched The Blind Side and seen that movie, and it's great. The guy's really talented. It's awesome. And all these coaches just come knocking on his door. And the big misconception of that is that's just not how the college recruiting process goes for most student athletes. And so we try to teach them what it looks like, how to go through the process, and questions to be asking on college coaches, as well as what should you be looking at and choosing a college. We refer to it as the broken leg test, the idea of let's think about everything besides this sport you're looking at, and thinking through that and going different ways and understanding what's the best way to actually evaluate a school, not just the athletic side of it, but also what questions should you be asking. And obviously everybody wants a scholarship. So like I said, we've interviewed 65 college coaches, athletic directors, everyone from the rifle coach at NC State, gymnastics coach in Nebraska, to the head women's soccer coach at Virginia, who used to be assistant for the U.S. women's national team. So then a bunch of colleges you've never heard of on purpose, intentionally, junior colleges, NAIs, D2s, D3s, as well as D1s on purpose. We wanted to be able to provide a true insider's perspective to families about the college recruiting process. So our book is Looking for a Full Ride, an insider's recruiting guide. And what you can also do is we have a Facebook group that we run to help families with the process. I encourage you guys also to join that if you are a high school coach or a parent of a high school student athlete. It's called Educating Parents of High School Athletes on the College Recruiting Process. And you can also find my book at lookingforafullride.com, lookingforafullride.com. And the first 10 who pick up my book today, if you use the coupon code SUMMER, you will get a coupon code for free shipping. It is lookingforafullride.com, and we want to help you guys through the process. So also join our Facebook group, Educating Parents of High School Student Athletes on the college recruiting process. And you can join that group. We have about 9,000 people in it. We have experts in that group as well. And also on Tuesday night this week, we will be having a free session webinar, expert session at 7 p.m. Eastern on communicating with college coaches. What should you say to them? And when you're on the phone with them or in person, for sure. So we want to be able to help and walk you guys through the process. Again, my book is Looking for a Full Ride. You can get it at lookingforafullride.com, coupon code SUMMER, and I'll put that on the chat as well. Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach. All right. Next up, we will have my guy, Mr. Chris Holmes. Chris owns a production company in a lot of entertainment. Great guy. So, Chris, you're up, my man.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, good. I want to go ahead and say good morning, good afternoon to like wherever location you are throughout this world. And I want to tell you right now that prosperity and much more is within you, and it's time for it to unlock you. So to tell a little bit about myself, of course, I'm originally from Huntsville, Texas, a small town, but I have a very motivated and a lot of energy to attain greatness. So coming from that small town, of course, I was raised with my grandparents and, of course, the fundamental teaching and things like that. But along with me being in this area, I was, let's say, in a prison town. And I always thought inside of my mind that there was something greater. And that's what I'm getting to when I get to my book is building your 10 pillars of success. So I basically use my experience of seeing what was going around in my area and then seeing that there is greater potential out there in the world. So in my book, the 10 pillars of success, I'm going to go ahead and hold it up there real quick. As you can see, I talk about a lot of different things, and that comes in through being able to adapt to your environment, your inner circle, because all of that and much more builds us who you are and how you can attain greatness. Because if you are around people who want great wealth, happy, joy, and much more, 9 times out of 10, you will be the average of that. But if you are on the opposite side of that and you're around people who may not have a lot of energy and things like that, you will probably be drained out much more. So you want to be able to protect yourself and build a foundation. I'll say it again, you want to be able to build a foundation, because the foundation is what's going to keep you strong and rock you through the storm as we go through this life. As we know, we have the pandemic and we have a lot of things. We may have personal issues, financials, and things like that. But if you build yourself and build a strong foundation, you will be rock solid to rock and go ahead and weather through these storms so you can come out strong. So you got to go ahead and stay strong with that and much more. So I want to go ahead and tell you the rest of them. The mind, it goes back and piggybacks on one of the authors just talked about. The mind is everything, because you got to have a strong mind to be prosperous. Surround the circle, I touched on that, be able to adapt, innovation, always be open to new ideas and things like that. Have a passion for whatever you do, because when you are passionate about things, you will not give up at all. And also got to have the hustle. This comes like in the words of Damon John. You got to have the hustle and ambition to strive and get what you want, because nobody just going to give it to you. You got to work hard and get it. Relationships, this is on to you, Chip, because you know all the big importance of relationships is all about connecting to each other, just like on this Zoom, building relationships, knowing what their strengths and weaknesses, and just connecting and just expanding your network, because it's not always what you know, it is who you know. And then the value, you always want to provide a tremendous amount of value to people so that they can see the prosperity and the greatness that's inside of them, so they can walk within their life. Quality, you always want to put out your best efforts. You know, it's like my grandparents always said, dress for the job that you want. So you want to always stay on P's and Q's and execution, because I can say all this great motivation and much more, but if I don't get you to execute, it's all for a loss. So make sure that you go out there and get things done and go get it. In the words of Chet Baker. So y'all give you all kinds of props over here. So with that, you can find all of my great things on my website, yourvoiceissoproductions.com. Or to make it even easier, if because I'm going to go ahead and give out, let's say, 10 digital copies of this book for free, you can easily text this number, 936-585-6537. I'll say it again, 936-585-6537. You text me that link, and I'll go ahead and get your email and things like that. And so I can give you the first 10 people who text that digital copy. And wait, there's one more thing. Oh, I'm giving so much value. I also will send you a link to my online courses. I have a couple of online courses out there that tricks on branding and much more. So you get all this great, tremendous amount of value of learning from the book. And then also don't forget to check out my podcast as well, Next Level Thinking, so that you can execute and take it to the next level. All right, I'm done.
All right, thank you, Chris. Man, you almost had me give you some sound effects like boom, like let's go. But
I didn't mean to interrupt Chip's sound effects, but Chris, will you put that number in the chat where people can get that?
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and type in the chat right now along with the number, so as they listen to your other authors, they can go ahead and just go ahead and put that in.
All right, thank you.
all righty.
With your sound effects.
Need like a button or something, boom, or go get it button, right? All right, so next we're going to Coach Lance Lawyer. Man, great guy. Truly excited to hear about what he has coming up. So, Coach, you're up.
Good. You got me? Can we hear me? Because I can't see me. Okay, good. All right. Hey, listen, man, I was thinking something Chip said earlier there about taking notes on life lessons, and I've been filling this thing up as people have been talking. So I think this is fantastic. So I've gotten a lot of good notes. And if you're anything like me, man, you're finding that we're living in some troubled times right now, and very divisive culture and just some unsettling, world events going on. And I keep coming back to the same thought. The world needs more good teammates right now. That's the one thing we need in this world right now. More good teammates, kind, caring, good-hearted people who have empathy and really put the needs of the team ahead of their own selfishness. More we, less me. And that's kind of what my book's about. I'm talking about the we gear today, how good teammates shift from me to we. Now, the book hit the bestsellers list in late December, and it also recently made Forbes' list of 20 books to make you a better coach or mentor. Now, the book is basically about exploring the art of being a good teammate. What does that really mean? Everyone wants teamwork on their team, but the reality is teamwork doesn't happen without good teammates. So, you don't have to be the most athletic person to be a good teammate. And this applies to all teams, whether it's, a sports team or a corporate team or a school staff or a church or your community you live in or even a family. These teammate principles apply to all of those teams. And you don't have to be athletic. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to be good looking. You don't really have to be intelligent. You just have to be alive. And that's an acronym. And the book follows this acronym. And it stands for active, loyal, invested, viral, and empathetic. And those are the 5 keys to being a good teammate. And I use a series of stories to emphasize those points. Now, I wrote the book with the intention of it being a book study for teams, a variety of different teams. So that's the format of the book. And I also wrote it in a format that it's often called a bathroom reader, because you can read certain chunks of the book, section of the books at a time. You can set it down and pick it back up days, weeks, months later, and you don't have to go back and reread anything. It just picks up. So it's written in short segments, nuggets of information, because that's how teams work. That's how coaches and you're constantly busy with schedule. So you don't necessarily have time to sit down and read a book cover to cover, but you can pick up sections here and there. And that's how this book is written. So I'm very happy with the We Gear and the progress it's made. I like to think of it, it's a roadmap for not only you to look at yourself and your own mindset in terms of what kind of teammate you are. It also gives you some great ideas for how you can get those around you to be better teammates. So if you want to learn more about the book, you can visit our website, Lance Loya or CoachLoya.com. And everybody's giving away free stuff, so I guess I better do so too. So I just tweeted, and I put the same post on Facebook, a cover of the book. And actually, I saw Amazon has the book discounted today. And if you're into audiobooks, you like to listen to books while you work out or while you have time in your car and your commute, audiobook is running a special on the We Gear right now. So if you sign up for Audible, a free 30-day subscription, you can download the We Gear for free, and you can cancel it when you're done if you don't like Audible. So don't tell Amazon I said that, though. So, all right, so we'll give away some freebies. Anybody who goes and follows us on social media and shares that post, be it on Facebook or Twitter, we'll put you into a drawing, and we'll give away we'll give away 10 copies of the book for free. So Chip and Tami, thanks for having me, and I'm enjoying learning for everybody. So if you want to make the world a better place, shift into the We Gear and become a better teammate.
There it is. Thank you, Coach. Thanks so much for sharing, and thanks for what you do. Anything else, Tami, before we go on?
No, it's. I think he must have been in my bathroom because it is a good bathroom read.
I don't think I'm offended by that. That's a badge of honor for me.
I love the book.
That's awesome. All right. So moving on to the next author, something that's really important that's coming up that he's going to talk about, which is faith. Love it, love it, love it. So Mark McKinney, you are up, sir.
Yes, sir. Chip, I wish I could bottle up your expressions, and I want to put that in my pocket and take that with me. I do need the sound effects, though.
I know, just buttons.
I love it. So my name is Mark McKinney. I live in Greer, South Carolina, a South Carolina native from a teeny tiny town, McCormick, which most people are not sure where that is. A couple of red lights, but as you guys can see, I'm probably the one in this group. This leaks like the others. Not a coach. Not working with athletes and so on and so forth. I'm kind of sort of more along the lines of the average Joe of the group. And I'm completely humbled to be part of this amazing group. I became involved in this group because of working with Tami, and this is proof right here, Tami, that this is good works. That's my son in the light blue. He played with a kid that shot 62 Wednesday to win a golf tournament, and then it's a lot of that's attributed to Tami's work. So that's how I'm affiliated with the group, and I'm drinking her secret sauce, so I love it. But I come at this from a little bit of a different angle. My book is Faith on a Sticky Note, and it was really an accident. I'm an accidental author, as opposed to a lot of folks that have written on purpose. And it was the product of me sitting down and trying to capture the memories of my dad, who passed away from alcoholism in 2006. And I wasn't a man of a huge amount of faith before that event took place, but that really startled me and made me start doubting, asking a ton of questions, questioning everything I thought I knew about, faith in the process. And I realized then if I ever wanted to see him again, there was only one way, right? So, and as I began to write down what those memories were of him, the pages started to fill up, and what emerged was this clear picture of God's hand on my life up into that very moment. And Squire Rushnell, if you guys are familiar, a former ABC executive, conjunction junction, what's your function? He calls those God winks. He refers to them as coincidences, circumstances that seem coincidental that are not, that are God's hand upon your life. And if you stop and look and listen, that you have no doubt that that's God painting your tapestry. And so as I started writing down just the memoir really of my dad, and took a look back at my life, I realized that I in fact did have a testimony where I didn't think I had one. my life was really a testimony, and this book is really that story. And it's I think it's something that folks will cry when they read it. I think you're going to laugh when you read it, and I think more importantly you're going to reflect when you read it. And that was my intent and my goal in putting it. I said, if I can impact one person's life through writing this thing, then it's worth all the money's worth it, right? So it never was for fame and fortune, as you guys can attest to. That's hard to get writing books, but it was about changing that life. And I think just as powerful was an unintended message that came from the book. And I think it ties beautifully with everything that's been shared today. And that's the power that we hold to change our circumstances, to get better, to get stronger, to overcome, and to realize that today is the first day of the rest of our lives. I think all too often we get stuck in this sort of this cycle, right? My family's always been like this. I'm destined to be like this. And I think it's perhaps, I'm going to read you guys an excerpt if that's okay. I don't want to read at you, but just sort of sit back for just probably 60 seconds. And I'll read you this piece, and it'll kind of give you a feel for what the book is. And I think probably one of the most important messages therein. So July 12th, 2013 is the day I took my last drink of alcohol. Prior to that, May 4th, 2013 was the last day that I had anything to drink at all. Beers with the guys while we played golf. I remember that May day very clearly, golfing, playing cards, and having one more beer, then another. And I said to myself, I'm 40 years old and I'm tired of this. I don't want another beer. And it all washed over me in an instant, like a wave that finally catches a kid running out of the ocean. The wave crashed. I stood up and collected myself and was convinced that I just did not want to drink anything anymore. So what happened in July? My wife and I celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary, and we had a bottle of wine with dinner. I woke up the next morning and felt like a failure because I had let myself down by not sticking with my vow not to drink again. I had not done anything dumb that night, no fights or arguments, no hangover, but the pain I felt was worse because I had failed myself. Why was it such a big deal? Let me give you a little bit of background. My story may be a little bit different than most. You see, I'm not an alcoholic, but based on my family history, I have every opportunity to be. My father died in 2006 at the very young age of 62 from cirrhosis of the liver. He was, in fact, an alcoholic in a family tree that had many such branches and had been drinking for as long as I could remember. Not to come home drunk, knock the door in, slap everybody around drinking, but to drink with the guys, have a drink to escape, occasionally embarrassing at parties, arguments with the wife kind of drinker. In my eyes, he was the normal husband, father, doing what I thought every man did. Initially, I was sad that he was gone, but then I became angry that he was missing seeing my kids grow up, and more so, they were growing up without their granddaddy. Even so, I did not let that stop me from continuing my lifestyle of social drinking, which, as many readers will attest to, began at an early age by sneaking beers out of my dad's cooler. Having beers with the guys, being that guy at a party from time to time. And then I was struck by something I read in a book in early 2013. Every Man's Marriage is the book, was given to me by a friend. And one piece of the book talks about the importance of your impact on your family tree. That the decisions you make today will affect every generation to come, whether it be 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years or more down the road. The writer offers this. At some point, every man must decide, will I purify my branch of the tree, or will I allow this poison to seep through generations, leaving the job for a better man down the line? So that's really, what I sort of want people to take away from my experience, my dad's experience, is that this is good. I thought his death was bad at the time, but now looking back, I can say this is good because his death allowed me to purify my branch of the tree, if you will. And everybody's got that opportunity, right, to go off and get her done, so to speak. So again, a little bit different angle from a coaching perspective, but hopefully some life lessons in there. Again, cry, laugh, and reflect. And I know that the social media information's up here. And for the first 5 folks, if they'll on my Twitter, if they'll just hashtag Faith on a sticky note, and I'll be sure to get them a free copy of the book. So again, very humbled to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to learn. And again, Chip, I'm taking that smile with me.
Let's go. Since I don't have the button and I didn't want to interrupt you, I did put a boom in the chat just so you know while you were doing your part. So I just wanted to let you know about that, okay?
I appreciate you.
Good stuff. Thanks so much for sharing that. All right, and now, if I had the Chicago Bulls song, you know, when the Bulls would come out, this is what I would play right now, just so you know, and just to get it going right for Coach here. But Coach 2 Feet In, Heather Macy is up next. Amazing lady, man, powerful, doing some great things, real, and very appreciative of her. And so, Coach, you're up next.
Boom, Chip. Thanks so much, Tammy, you and Chip both, for setting all this off. It's a great thing for all of us, and authors united, right, and supporting one another, which is a cool thing. And for me to be an author was a tough thing. It was a tough battle. One of the hardest things that I ever did, which was write 2 feet forward, everyday lessons in leadership. And truth be told, that is not what I wanted the title to be. What I wanted the title to say is the stuff that I wish someone would have told me. I became a head coach at the age of 26 years old, way too young to be given such responsibility for young people. I had no idea what I was doing, and I messed up in every possible way. Well, throughout the book, I talk about the failures and the lessons that I have learned in leadership. I also am able to go through and define a lot of words around leadership and around athletics, whether it be discipline or toughness, but the ability to define what is the difference in being competitive and competing. So you'll find all of those things around the sport arena, but more importantly around leadership, and leadership in your family, and leadership also in an industry, whether it's coaching or you're a CEO of a company. As you'll progress through the book, I do talk a lot about emotional intelligence, which I have a certification in, as well as a specialization in positive psychology. So you'll see a lot of mindset talk throughout the book, because I do believe that is the answer to become an elite performer, is your mindset. So in each of the 18 chapters, we're going to take one topic, talk about it, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a Macyology. A lot of our players say, Coach Macy, you talk really, really funny. So they term that Macyology. And so we'll hit a Macyology, and then I'll tell a real life story of how to apply it. It is an airport read. When I wrote the book, the intent was, if you got on the plane in New York and you're going to head to the West Coast, that you could grab the book and finish it within the flight. And I think it's a simple read. It took a team to write the book. The cover was designed by a former player, and the illustrations in the book drawn by a former player. I'm very proud of that. And then at that point, I had coached 18 seasons. There's 18 chapters, as well as 18 tributes in the back of the book from former coaches and players. And probably some of the things I read there have inspired me to say, I'm going into year 20 of coaching, but I'm going to go do this another 20 years. And so thankful for all of my experiences and all the people who've taught me such valuable lessons that I think today I'm a much better coach, ready to do bigger and better things in my next 20. So thanks so much for allowing me this platform to come on and chat. I actually have the book as my pinned tweet on Twitter. First 5 people that retweet it, I'll send you a signed copy of the book. But as always, 2 feet in with you. Stay in touch, everybody. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thanks so much. That's awesome. So, Tammy, if you want to, have some closing words, and then I'll finish after you, if you don't mind.
All right. I appreciate everybody that joined us today, the authors that spoke and those that joined in. People ask me, hey, I already have your book, or I can't afford to buy your book. How can I help you? And I saw this this post the other day, and I thought this is a great way of how you can help other authors, and just giving some ideas there. Again, none of us got into this to make money. We're trying to all do it to make a difference in people's lives. And I think that's the intent behind every author that spoke to you today. I have had the great fortune of reading almost everyone's book on here. There's a few I've got to get to, and they are all amazing and worth your time and money by far. So please reach out, ask, all these authors are wanting you to ask them questions, reach out, engage with them. Real quick, since Chip and I kind of got, give you Chip's contact here. Can y'all see Chip's?
There we go. Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah, sorry, Chip. You got slided a little bit.
Oh, no worries. I learned a long time ago that it ain't about me. So I know it's not about me. No, it ain't about me. So I'm just thankful that we, have had the opportunity to be on and hang out with some great people. Thank you so much for your time, for choosing to be here. You didn't have to choose to be here, but you did. And for that, we're truly appreciative. I said this in a post, and I've said this a few times. It's a great time with great people that's doing great things. Wholeheartedly believe that. And so just want to encourage everyone just to continue to live, learn, serve, inspire, but most of all, go get it. So have a great rest of your day. And we'll be seeing you guys next month. So I'm going to just put that little bit out there because we're going to be doing it again. And so, just be looking for that. Excited about the opportunity. So take care, guys. God bless.
Thanks, guys.